Picture this. A 7-year-old boy kneels beside his bed, clenching crumpled dollar bills, desperately trying to pay God to make his father love him. In the next room, that same father stares at the ceiling, wishing his son had never been born. That night, tentacles drag the boy's teddy bear into his closet. Aliens abduct him for horrific experiments. His teacher watches classmates get blown to pieces and casually dismisses them for the weekend. His grandfather chases him through the house trying to eat him alive. And his only friend? The son of Satan himself. By the time you watch this innocent child standing in the padded cell with forks stabbed through his skull, you'll understand something devastating about childhood trauma. Sometimes the world really is trying to destroy you, and sometimes the only kindness comes from the most impossible places. Because this isn't just a dark comedy, this is the most honest depiction of what it feels like to be completely alone that comics has ever produced. How's it going? It's Ryan, and I need to talk to you about this story that disturbed me in ways I'm still trying to understand. I picked up Squee thinking it was some weird quirky spinoff from Johnny the Homicidal Maniac, like maybe some weird dark humor about a creepy kid, but what I got instead was a story that made me uncomfortable in ways I couldn't quite put my finger on. This isn't just a comic about childhood trauma wrapped in supernatural horror. This is a mirror held up to every moment you've ever felt invisible, unwanted, or like the universe itself was trying to conspire against you. It takes the most innocent thing imaginable, like a lonely kid just trying to survive, and puts him through cosmic horror that somehow feels more real than most slice of life stories. This is the full story of Squee by Jhonen Vasquez, a story that will redefine what you think comics are capable of when it comes to exploring the darkest corners of childhood, and I want to show you why. The story opens with a heartbreak disguised as innocence. 7-year-old Squee kneels beside his bed in prayer, clutching crumpled dollar bills as he whispers, "Dear Mr. or Miss God, I heard people talking about you on TV, so I thought you maybe could help me." He's literally trying to pay God to fix his broken family, to make his father happy, and to stop the pain he doesn't even understand yet. In the next room, his father stares at the ceiling, saying the words that will haunt his entire story. "God, I wish that kid was never born." While this innocent kid tries to buy divine intervention with allowance money, his own father prays for his non-existence. At 2 a.m., Squee wakes up to his teddy bear Shmee being dragged into the closet by tentacles. When he opens the door, we meet cosmic horrors who treat this boy like a plaything, a big-eyed alien who discusses torturing a 7-year-old like paperwork. The leader says screaming is pointless because they put his parents under deep sleep. Another alien admits he forgot the sleep rate and just beat them unconscious with the club. "They probably don't have any major brain damage," he says, with terrifying casualness. But it gets worse. Goggle-wearing aliens arrive to claim Squee for themselves. These cosmic beings literally fight over who gets to traumatize the child, discussing full cranial scavenge and calzonian scans that leave nothing but organic jelly and teeth. Squee stands there in pajamas, wide-eyed, absolute in terror, as he debated dissolving his brain with the tone of office workers discussing lunch. When Squee returns home 2 days later, naked except for an alien implant drilled into his skull, his mother doesn't recognize him. She opens the door and yells for Squee, saying, "One of your friends is here." The woman who gave birth to him sees her traumatized, surgically altered child and assumes he's a stranger. This is just messed up. Walking to school, Squee carries teddy bear stuffing in his pocket, so Smee can come with him without getting bullied. We only hear Squee's side of conversations with his bear, but Smee clearly serves as his moral compass. What's that? No, setting people on fire is wrong, silly. He spots Andy, literally the only kid who shows him kindness, and tries to playfully sneak up on him. But in Squee's world, even innocent joy becomes tragedy. A rabid dog attacks Andy, tearing his clothes, ripping out his hair. Squee watches in horror as this sweet kid gets mauled. When he suggests throwing away his lunch to distract the dog, Andy's response breaks your heart. "Never! It's peanut butter and jelly!" The dog drags Andy into the doghouse while Squee runs away screaming, powerless to help. But I mean, can you blame him? PB&J is pretty good. At school, the teacher introduces a new student with horns, mismatched eyes, and an unsettling grin. He announces himself son of the Dark Prince, child of darkness, the outer boy of doom, and the second coming of damnation. But my mom calls me Pepito. This is our introduction to the most important relationship in Squee's life. Pepito explains his father feeds upon souls of the damned. His dog's name is Woofles, and he can sense the animalistic cruelty of these kids. For the first time, someone else sees what Squee sees, that the world is fundamentally broken. When a classmate tells Pepito to shut up, the son of Satan screams, "Silence!" and points. The boy's head explodes. The classroom erupts in panic, children running and getting blown to pieces, but Pepito stops at Squee. He recognizes a kindred spirit who agrees that the the other children are cruel. The teacher's response reveals everything wrong with the adult world here. Well, the bell rang. Have a nice weekend. Mass murder is treated like a scheduling conflict. We are then cut to a car trip where Squee desperately needs the bathroom. His father says, "You just went 2 days ago." His mother offers him Fritos to urinate into, calling him little boy because she doesn't know his name. At a gas station called Dingy's, while Squee relieves himself, something horrifying happens in the next stall. A man screams in agony. Blood floods the bathroom floor and legs fling out of the stall upside down. Squee watches this grotesque scene while physically unable to escape. A perfect metaphor for childhood powerlessness. That night, he tells Smee, "I think there's something wrong with this world." It's such a simple, childlike way to process cosmic horror. Later, lying on his roof, staring at the stars, he talks about escaping to another planet. Suddenly, his future self appears in a giant costume, hiding his adult appearance to prevent future shock. But time travel has brutal side effects. Has lost 80% of his memories and can't remember what he came to warn about. Then his spine liquefies and he screams in pain, zapping back to the future. It's a brilliant subversion suggesting Squee's future is so horrible even the cosmic forces prevent him from knowing about it. When Squee's grandfather visits, we discover family's dysfunction runs deeper than neglect. Grandpa is senile and extremely dangerous, but very rich. So they abandon Squee alone with this maniac. Grandpa reminisces about eating Squee's kitten, does a magic trick, and then genuinely believes Squee is hiding coins in his head. He reveals his longevity secret, eating firstborn children of all his offspring. The chase that follows is a nightmare. When Grandpa falls and busts his face open, we discover his fully metallic head. As we find out, he stepped on a landmine back then and had his new skull built. This cyborg cannibal grandfather represents generational trauma made literal. One of the most heartbreaking moments comes when Squee encounters a cute puppy while being bullied. For a moment, hope flickers. Maybe he has found a companion who could love him unconditionally. But Squee warns the dog away, saying horrible things happen around him and he doesn't want the puppy to get hurt. He even breaks the fourth wall, suggesting his life is controlled by some awful cartoon guy. Squee distracts the dog with the ball and walks away crying, convincing himself that it's better this way. Of course, in Squee's world, even acts of kindness become tragedies. The dog immediately gets run over by several cars and a bicycle. The senseless violence perfectly captures how Squee's very existence seems to bring suffering to anything he cares about. Squee's parents force him to attend dinner at Pepito's by making him jump from a moving car. But Pepito's home reveals something beautiful, genuine family love in impossible circumstances. It's ironic, but Pepito's mother is sweet and caring, treating the son of with more warmth than Squee receives from his own parents. The basement is a literal hellscape since Satan likes to work at home. When the devil returns, shedding human skin and carrying a screaming suitcase, he greets Squee warmly. When Squee panics about eating souls, Pepito's mom asks what he's talking about. Satan comes clean about his identity. Her response is just, "Oh, that explains the basement." Satan offers Squee membership in his soulless army. The traumatized child politely declines but mentions wanting to be a giant monster once. When Satan realizes Pepito lied about Squee being willing, he threatens holy water punishment. Pepito's confession breaks your heart. "I just wanted an actual friend." Satan offers all powers and riches in the world, but Squee's response reveals his fundamental goodness. No thanks. He heads home, leaving behind the only family showing him genuine warmth. More kindness exists in the house of literal evil than his own home. At school, Squee writes stories when the teacher snaps. "Quit being creative and memorize information like a zombie." She forces him to answer when Columbus discovered America. Squee correctly says 1492, but she insists it's 1429 and makes all the students venomously laugh at him. When he points out the textbook's typo, she explodes. "The textbooks never lie!" And so the class recites Columbus discovered America in 1429 like zombies. The teacher reveals the school works with the government to drug students into compliance, ordering zombie children to destroy the non-believer. As they overwhelm Squee, Pepito bursts in. "Stand back! This looks like a job for the Antichrist." Squee exits as the classroom explodes, with dead children flying everywhere. We cut to discovering after aliens return Squee's parents with surgical scars. They finally address him directly. His father's word cut deeper than any probe. "We know we haven't been the best parents, but that's because our lives were destroyed when you were born." They blame their abduction on whatever's wrong with Squee's brain, deciding to institutionalize him at the Defective Head Meets Institute. The doctor declares, "Yep, he's nuts," while another patient is released down the hall. Johnny, the homicidal maniac, who waves at Squee as he leaves. The actual psychopath walks free while the traumatized child gets locked away. The final image is devastating. Squee sits in a padded cell with a pentagram carved in his forehead and fork stabbed through his skull, surrounded by psychotic drawings. Through the window, Johnny stares, saying, "You should try the stew, it's delicious." The most innocent character has been broken by a world that failed him at every level. Institutions meant to protect children destroyed them, while the only genuine friendship came from the son of Satan. himself. If you haven't read Squee, you need to, but I'm warning you, while it can be a great comic for entertainment, the story will put you in a position of understanding something profound about survival, the ways we fail each other, and about the small acts of connection that make existence bearable. What makes this series extraordinary isn't just its willingness to confront childhood trauma head on, but its refusal to let cynicism win. Yes, the world is cruel. Yes, adults fail children in devastating ways. Yes, sometimes it feels like the universe itself wants to break you, but it also says that kindness exists in the most unexpected places, that friendship can bloom in the darkest soil, that maintaining your humanity in the face of cosmic indifference is the most heroic thing anyone can do. Todd Squee Castle deserved better than the world gave him. But in creating his story, this comic gave us something invaluable. Validation for our own experiences of feeling small and powerless, and the proof that survival itself can be an act of rebellion against a world that doesn't care. This is why comics and stories matter, because sometimes you need to see your own pain reflected back at you to know you're not alone, you're not crazy, and you're not the monster, even when everyone around you suggests otherwise. As always, thanks for hanging out. It was nice seeing you, my friend, and I'll see you again next time. Ciao. Oh, and that patient at the end, Johnny the homicidal maniac, he's got his own comic series where he appears too, and is somehow even more messed up than what we just covered. So if you're curious about that psychological nightmare, let me know in the comments. Now I'm actually gonna go. Like for real. Bye.